Top tier greetings, peace and blessings. This is the Whiteboard Talk with the Healthy Human. Today, we're going to get down to human relations. What it means to commune, what it means to communicate, and what it means to have community. So, we as humans are a group of species. We are a group of organisms. We as a collective, meaning humanity, we are a collective of individuals. Individuals coming together makes a group, right? We have evolved throughout the entirety of our existence by being in close relation with one another. That is why we call it relationships. Our close relation to one another takes us to a different place, right? It takes us from an area of understanding of where it's just us, where we take in the stimulation from the world, the stimulus from the world, the stimuli from our external environment, and we make use of that. We make sense of that. But when we place an entirely different perspective into that bubble to try to filter out what this stimuli, this stimulus may mean, this gives us a double filter, okay? This gives us a way to bounce ideas off of another person and therefore gain a clearer perspective, right? Very important that we understand this as we go forward, that we as humans operate best when we're together, right? When we are not alone, when we are not solo, we come up with the best results. Yes, humans can be pushed to the brink. Humans can survive on their own, but I am speaking of thriving today, right? And that is what happens when you commune, when you come together to share. And this is how we as humans have created societies. We've created large cities. We've done so much with technology, with the resources that are available through the earth and through the solar system, through the entire universe that we have access to at this moment. We together have created a more, I wouldn't say sustainable, but I would say a place where the dangers of the wild are not so prevalent. It's important that we understand that we as humans, even though we have clothes that are stitched and we have vehicles that are made from molded rocks and so forth, that we are still wild species. We are made from the elements of the earth. We do well when we put ourselves in nature. Okay, it is important that we not set that aside because we have computers, because we have automobiles, because our children can be taught by this device that tells them all about history through this screen. It's important that we understand that this skin and the makeup beneath this skin works best when it is interactive with nature. Okay? So we want to integrate ourselves with where we came from. We do not want to continuously push ourselves away from that, right? This is what's happening. This is what's occurring in society at this moment with, dare you say, social media, though there is very little social about it. We see technology that can get us to speak to somebody across the globe, but that same technology is not fixing the problems between two different cultures around the globe. So if we are going to become reliant on technology, if we are going to shed our past, our actual existence, our essence, that which we came from, meaning the earth, and the history, the hundreds of thousands of years of human evolution, I'm speaking of the actual current form that we're in, right? And the changing of our environment, meaning the progression of the societies that we lived in, going from tribal, going from nomadic to this large city dwelling life that we have right now. This creates a lot of different neurological changes. This creates digestive tract changes in the gastrointestinal tract. This creates social and psychosocial different complexes within the human. We see that society is not rife with equity, right? We see that society is not full of equality. We see that people do not practice what they teach. They do not practice what they preach. So it's important that we understand that, yes, we have come to a time where humans have a lot of advancement, a lot of opportunity for us to move up the scale, right? But that same technology has pulled us so far from our nature, our nethers, that we have forgotten how to optimize our existence. So it is my belief, and through my learnings and through my speakings, I have come to realize that to commune could truly be, I believe, the way that we can merge this mass amount of technology that we have that can be a major benefit to humanity and to the creation at large, but through sharing, only through sharing our collected experiences, through sharing our collective ambitions, through sharing our collective histories, our past, our rituals, our rites. That is the only way that we will be able to develop an understanding, and only through a genuine understanding can we develop love. When we develop love, we genuinely want to live more. And when we live more, we want to learn more. When we learn more, we want to grow more. And when we grow more, we create a better existence for society. Okay? So it all starts here with communing. It all starts with communing, because to commune means to share. It means to come together, right? If you have plantains and I have apples, or if I grow wheat and you have cows, so you have dairy and you have butter, then surely if we come together, we can create something that our families can enjoy and can benefit from. You can't sustain your family just off of butter. I can't sustain my family off of ground down wheat. So if we commune, if we come together, bringing our resources together and sharing our collective ambitions, then we have created a community. We have created that community because we communicated between one another in a shared experience, in a shared proximity, that what I have can benefit you and what you have can benefit me. And thus we can benefit the world by not being at each other in a negative sense, attempting to take that which the other has. Okay? So by being upfront and open, by being clear about who you are, what you do, who you stand for, who you love, then you can create a community, a place where sharing is continuously occurring, a place where sharing is the way that the community is preserved. All right? So it doesn't come from just saying hello. It doesn't come from just liking somebody's pictures, right? A community isn't developed because multiple people enjoy the same thing. That's not a community, okay? That's a subscription. You're subscribing to the same thing. Multiple people are in a group because they all like wearing yellow. That is not a community of yellow wearing people. That is a subscription to a liked entity. Okay, you all like the color yellow. That does not mean that you are the yellow community, right? Important that we make that distinction, because I feel this gets lost. I actually genuinely believe that this gets lost when we interact through digital means, when we interact through virtual mediums, right? We believe that because I'm interacting with this person, because I've responded to this post, because I have liked this person's post, because I have commented on this person's post or interacted briefly with another human through this digital means, that does not mean that that is a community. A community is continuous sharing and cooperation, right? So it's not just double dutching in, double dutching out, right? It's much more than that. If we want to be a part of something, if we genuinely want to say that we are a part of a community, then this means that there is a continual, perpetual sharing, not just of material items, not just of time, not just of currency, but also of experiences. And the experiences are what are going to allow this community to blossom. This is what's going to allow the community to thrive, is through the shared collective experiences. My emotional experiences, my child rearing background, the way that I have come about to be in front of you at this very moment, all of those, if communicated properly, clearly, with respect and with love, they should develop a deep sense of community with the person that I'm sharing that with, right? So I am communing what has made me me through communicating, and therefore I'm creating community. It doesn't require that the person that I'm communicating with or the persons that I'm communicating with to have that same shared experience. They don't have to have the same shared Black experience. They don't have to have the same shared Muslim experience. They don't have to have the same shared prison experience. They don't have to have the same shared any sort of travel experience that I've had, right? But by me genuinely saying, this is who makes me me. This is who I am, with my curly kinky hair, with my African nose, with my big teeth. This is who I am, and this is who I love to be. And this same person has brought me in this community with you. By being that open communicator, by being that willing sharer of my life, of my experience, I am being one who can be accepted into the community as exactly who he is, right? So very important that we not see it as what I am giving to the community in terms of materialistic things, right? The most valuable piece that you can give to this world, that you can present to this world, is going to be a piece of yourself, the genuine, unadulterated, unarmored, right? I love to use the term social armor. Imagine if throughout your life, from the year of 8, right, from 3rd grade, this is when we begin to understand, okay, well, people will think of me this way if I do this or if I don't do that. So let me alter the way that I interact with the experiential community. Let me change the way that I interact so that I don't get those bad feelings and feel like I don't have a companion, right? We don't want to be picked on, right? We don't want to be talked about. We don't want to be bullied. So what do we do in order to avoid bullying? Well, we cooperate with the status quo, right? And that's not a positive cooperation. This cooperation is cooperating with the societal norm that has been accepted as children in elementary school to become the person that the rest of the clique is, so that you are not picked on, right? But that is social armor. That is putting on a helmet so that when you're struck by the laughter or the jokes of the other community, that it doesn't hurt as bad. So you play with it, you joke with it, you act like it doesn't hurt. And then you put on a breastplate so that your heart is more secure, right? So you're donning all this stuff, and these are social constructs. These are stereotypical acceptances of the rest of the group that you know that you do not subscribe to. But you're doing this to avoid emotional, social, or even physical pain. This is social armor, okay? And by being real, being open, and being completely honest about your shared experiences, or sharing your experiences, this takes off the armor and places you in a community where that armor is not needed, okay? Very important, very important. We get cooperation from the right people who will benefit us and elevate us in a cooperative sense by being genuinely 100% who we are. No matter what that looks like, no matter what society may think about it, we can only be fully accepted and elevate to another plane if we are exactly who we are. Nice. So, let's just run through the chart again, okay? The middle is to commune. Why? Because that's our base definition, right? To commune, to share. To share what? To share space, information, experiences, and material goods, right? We want to share those things because when we share them, we do have more. It doesn't have to be divided in half once we collect it all in the middle. We don't all need the same things at the same times or in the same capacities, all right? So very important that we understand that. Also, we know that to share happens in multiple ways. First, you must communicate. You must share your words and experiences, and then through those shared words and experiences, you will then create a shared space socially, psychologically, and physically with these other humans, right? Very important. Once you have a community, that community can only be stable, sustainable, and thrive if there's full cooperation. There has to be complete cooperation between each and every party, every member in the community. Let's shrink down community to just a family unit, right? Everybody in the family unit has a role, and they always have in the entirety of human existence. We have roles. Yes, these roles switch depending on the era that we're in, or the society that we're in, or the way that that society is ran, or the economy in that society. These different factors alter, they vary, they change the way that the family structure may exist, must exist in order to thrive, right? Because we're not just talking about survival. That is the area of human life that we're in right now, is just survival, just getting by, making sure that we are not dying today and then making it tomorrow. But this is not what community is about. Community is about uplifting. It's about elevation. It's about making the next day better than today, not just getting by to the next day. So when we speak about community and we shrink it down to the family unit, we must understand that each and every thing that exists with the brain must have an intention. So therefore, with a collection of brains, there must be a collective intent, correct? Right. So let's look at this. We've got the family unit here, right? What goes into a family unit, right? You need a cost of living covered, right? There needs to be intimacy. There's got to be quality parenting and guidance for the young, right? And then, of course, there must be community involvement. Because though this family unit is a shrunken community, it then interacts with the external community, the neighbors, the neighborhood, the school system, the police officers, the first responders, the teachers, the library system. All of these things are part of this collective unit, right? The cost of living, we're talking about the house, we're talking about the transportation, we're talking about water, electricity, heat, right? We're talking about involvements that the children may be in, okay? These are additional academic programs. These are musical programs. These are different art programs, right? These are religious programs to ensure that they are staying spiritually guided on the right path, on the straight path, right? Also, we have intimacy. Intimacy is key in a marriage. It is key in a family unit. And this is not just between the man and the wife, but this is also the intimate relationship between the parent and the child. Okay? The child must understand that it is not just someone who is woken up, sent to school, brought home, sent to sleep. The child must feel a part of what? Of the community. And the child can only feel a part of the community if they are continuously a part of the communication process. And once you have a child that is bought into the communication process, they will then uphold all of the values of the community, and you will have full cooperation from that child. And now that child will act as an extension of the household unit, and that arrives us here as we are being future focused, and that will arrive the child at being an intimate companion that will continuously outreach. That means generations down the line, that which you are instilling in your family unit, which is extending out into the community, is all flowing directly down into your child. And this child is now beginning the next generation of companion outreach. This is a free-flowing system. This is continuously cyclical, okay? This is what has brought humanity to the point of where we are at this very moment, right? We also speak about parenting and guidance. And this is not just saying that the child must wake up at this time or the child must go to sleep at this time, right? This isn't just saying that I am the parent and you're the child and you must do as I say. This isn't just telling the child that they must do chores all day. Nor is this allowing the child to do everything that they want because you cannot comprehend with what their generation is speaking about, right? Parental guidance is being fully aware of what the community needs. It's not about you in your household when it comes to building for the community through the means of a child. Your child is not just your child. Your child will grow up to be an adult at one point, and at that point you are now giving that child over to society. You are now releasing that child to be a steward of the earth. And if you haven't communicated with that child precisely what that takes, if you have not shown them the community in itself, in its current state, how can you expect that child to share its gifts in a cooperative manner to sustain that community? So parenting and guidance, this goes deeper than just being intimate and having a child, something that brings you joy and laughter because of its beauty and softness. No. This is an important step to getting your community to the next level. This is an important step, and that is why this is all continuously cyclical, because this child, in order to get here, in order for the child to be a continued outstretched arm of the family, of the community, of that positive, joyous companionship, of that elevated community, the only way that they can get here is by repeatedly, consistently bringing that child up around the successful and even unsuccessful portions of the community, bringing them to the domain of discourse, therefore they can see how adult men and women communicate with one another on all different forms and planes, whether that be about finances, whether that be about transportation, education, athletics, international finance, space exploration, science, geometry, history, math. It doesn't matter. But a child who we expect to be an adult one day does not just hit puberty and then all of a sudden they're an adult and they absorbed through all of their years the way to question, the way to criticize, or the way to assess, right? That comes from being around people who are very well skilled in those domains of discourse, right? Just as us as adults, we learned by being at the foot of teachers who were prominent, who knew their craft, who knew that when they got up to the whiteboard, they were going to give us a message. When they got in front of the lecture hall, they were going to give a message. And by way of them communicating that message and then us communing with our peers and our colleagues, we were able to bounce ideas off of them and therefore develop our opinion that has led us to this point right now where we're still continuously elevating our mindset, right? So we had to come in front of teachers. We had to be brought around those who had more knowledge than us. We had to come and be a part of the domain of discourse so that we could understand not just what occurs in there, not just the substance that's in there, but what are the ethics in the circle, right? What are the rules in the circle, right? What is the way that the domain of discourse occurs, okay? This is a part of parenting and guidance. And you do not just have to be a parent in order to do that. If you're an uncle, if you're a grandparent, if you are an older cousin, if you're an older brother, guidance is upon you as well. But that means that you cannot just take this information and tell somebody you need to go out and be a part of the community. And by being a part of the community, that means that you're communicating and then you're going to create cooperation. No, this is a lead with one foot and pull with one hand, right? Meaning you implement the step first by being an example of light. You jump in the domain of discourse that concerns you most, that you have the most knowledge about, right? You integrate yourself into that community. You communicate your plans with the young that you have the right over to guide, where that responsibility is placed on you to guide them, right? So you've done the first two. Now you can bring your young in to commune, listen to how the communication occurs, and then begin to be a part of the community. I find this system to be very enlightening and uplifting. Knowing that no matter where you are in this or how far separated you may be from this sort of interaction in your community, from this sort of positive extrovert activity, at any time you can begin this, right? Because we as humans, we have this natural draw, this natural calling to be a part of something, right? And that's why even though society is in the limbo that it is at this moment, and we have so much ease to connect with one another on different portions and different time zones through a device, like I speak at this moment, it is important for us to understand that we will always have this nagging feeling that we are missing something. We will always have this nagging feeling like we are not complete, and that's because we are not. We are tribal beings. We are communal beings. We are humans, and we have progressed, elevated, and evolved in societies, in social settings, in social communes. We have not evolved as hermits. Please do not allow technology to make you feel like a hermit or make you feel like you are unheard. If you have an ambition, if you have a skill set, if you have a desire, if you have something to say, find those people who you can commune with. Because I guarantee if you share what you feel, and if you share your collected experiences, you will create a community. You will find yourself to be a part of a community. There will be cooperation, and then there will be continued companion outreach. Right? This is all about the first F. Right? This is friendship. This is family. Okay? Food and fitness, they come next. They come next. Because we can find food anywhere. We'll have to get into that. But as humans, we must understand that we are originally wilder. We were not born in buildings in the majority of our existence. So that means we still have very wild tendencies, okay? We still have very wild biological, principles, precepts. Family and friends. These things already exist when the baby comes into the world. The baby will immediately get, before it even receives milk, once it has come out of the womb, it will receive that instant connection of cutaneous touch, right? That skin-to-skin contact with the mother, right? That's the F first. That's not food. That's not food, right? That's not fitness. The baby's not doing pull-ups. The baby's not pulling itself up, on the mom's neck to already start doing pull-ups. The baby's not, walking around yet to make sure that its legs are getting strong and the neurological function is working properly. No. This newborn, this new creation that has just come from the inside of a loving, nurturing womb, the first thing that is going to impact this child is the community. It's family and its friends and the extension, the cooperation, the shared cooperation of the community, right? The mother and the father are but two humans with their own skill sets. The aunt, the uncle, the cousin, the grandmother, the grandfather, the other siblings, and the other community members must all provide the rest that child needs in order to produce for the community one that will interact and engage in companion outreach. Family and friends. It's the first of the three F's. And in this structure, we can forge ahead. In this structure, we avoid faltering. As always, it's been a pleasure. I pray that I've only opened your mind to the infinite and limitless possibilities of the human mind and the human potential. We must do better We can do better, so we will do better. Until next time, I am Zulu Zeke Khalid, the healthy human, your teacher.